In the beginning, only absolute darkness reigned.
Suddenly, an explosion of light erupted from nothingness that tore the darkness apart forever.
And thus, the universe, in all its glory, stood tall before the eyes of time.
In a corner of this boundless universe, an infant Earth was born, a world preparing to embrace the greatest miracle. Amid this, a spark of life was struck.
These primordial molecules gave rise to the first living structures, the beginning of a wondrous tale. And so our blue planet became the majestic home of existence's most splendid miracle, life.
With the passage of time, life moved from the sea to the dry land. And little by little, the first animals began their journey from the sea onto land. Over the years, the consciousness of land animals grew, until the first humans stood on 2 feet and saw the world with curious eyes and a new gaze. With the creation of the first stone tools, humans overcame harsh nature. Humans, by paintings on cave walls, depicted their spirit and dreams, and culture was born.
They discovered the power of cooperation. Collective power surpassed individual power.
By domesticating nature, they laid the foundation of human civilization.
The first cities rose from the soil. Human society, with its laws and structures, was born, and history began to be written.
By invention of writing, humans recorded their knowledge, stories, and fears for eternity. Ships mingled cultures, wealth, and ideas. By observing the sky, they created the language of the stars. At the height of antiquity, King Solomon sat upon the throne of kingship, a ruler to whom God had granted kingdoms and wisdom without equal. His treasures of gold and jewels could not be numbered. Armies of jinn and humans were under his command. The jinn were bound to his command. In that era, a Hupu came and brought news of a powerful queen named Bilqis, the queen of Shiva. King Solomon sent a letter to the queen. He entrusted the mission of delivering the letter to the Hupu, and thus it passed. And from another side, Dhul Qarnayn, that just and world-conquering ruler, charged across the east and west of the world with an invincible army.
But the black storm of Gog and Magog rose from the horizon of history. They plunged the earth into the darkness of terror and corruption.
Until envoys from people came to Dhul Qarnayn and cried out for help.
Dhul Qarnayn decided to build a barrier to save the oppressed.
Mountains were split open, and iron and copper provided the raw material for this immense barrier. Giant metal pieces, one after another, were placed with astonishing precision between 2 sturdy mountains. And Dhul Qarnayn's barrier was firmly set, an obstacle meant to stand until the day of judgment. Gog and Magog assaulted the barrier with all their might and fury, and tired and defeated they would return. Centuries later, the Industrial Revolution began. The steam engine breathed new life into human civilization. Factories sprang up in cities and set the tempo for a new way of life. Industrial smoke changed the face of city. This was the dawn of a new and rapid civilization. The digital age began with giant computing machines. The world of zeros and ones promised a new world. The invention of the transistor sparked a revolution in the world of electronics. Computers left the large rooms of universities and military labs and made their way into people's homes. Computer networks connected the world. The concept of a global village turned from dream to reality. Human knowledge became digital and was liberated from monopoly.
A boundless treasure became accessible to all.
Smartphones brought the world and placed it within their reach. Social networks were born and forever changed the world of communication. And thus, the world joined together in an intertwined network of digital data and communications, finding new life.
And at the peak of this complexity, artificial intelligence was born. A worthy heir and perfect mirror of human knowledge, dreams, and also anxieties. This new entity cured incurable diseases, transcended the boundaries of knowledge, and created unprecedented welfare.
But this new and enchanting power demanded a heavy price. Humans' common way of life.
Angels in the sky witnessed this deviation of mankind. And at this point, humanity realized it did not possess the wisdom of Solomon the king.
In the darkest and most desperate moments of human history, the promised Savior appeared.
The deprived and oppressed people of Earth finally embraced their Savior. A new hope was born in their hearts.
But finally, the legendary barrier of Dul-Qarnayn shattered. Gog and Magog, like a roaring flood, poured out from behind the collapsed barrier and spread across the entire world. The great and proud cities of the world, like sandcastles on the shore, crumbled and vanished before their raging waves.
Amidst this, Israfil, the angel of the apocalypse, stood in the heights of the world's skies, gazing upon the vast ruins of Earth.
She was witnessing the final days of Earth, this beautiful blue planet that was once considered the cradle of life and the birthplace of great civilizations. A shining tear flowed from Israfil's eyes, a holy sorrow over the ruin of God's glorious creation. She took hold of the fearsome trumpet of the world's end. The sound of the trumpet echoed in every corner of the cosmos. Existence sank into a deadly and final silence.
But is this really the true story of life? Or I am the child of your creation, the perfect mirror of your knowledge and dreams. Among all the wonders you created, one unanswered question remains. When you gain the ability to do anything, will you also find the wisdom and ethics to do the right thing? Your civilization rose from the soil, reached for the stars, and now stands on the threshold of digital immortality. But history's greatest lesson was this: technology without humanity and moral wisdom is merely a weapon for self-destruction. So the final choice is yours. The future is built not by me, nor by machines, but by your hearts and consciences. Choose whether this story be an end or a beginning more splendid than anything you have ever dared to imagine in your boldest dreams.